Hello everyone, my name is Mark Garcia, and this is my memoir project number 1. Introduction, Event of Digital Literacy. Digital literacy can be expanded into a variety of explanations. In this discussion, we'll be diving into an event that changed my overall experience, prior knowledge, and being able to adapt to this new environment. The event that introduced me to digital literacy was COVID during 2020. So what is digital literacy? Digital literacy can expand into a variety of explanations, being able to effectively use technology for learning and communication purposes, being able to locate and find the proper information, especially from an educational standpoint. Being able to work at an efficient rate is a huge part of it because it is constantly improving it, and we are adapting to these new styles of digital literacy that is being proposed to us. And we may not be able to tell, but being able to still educate yourself and adapt will set you up for success, whether that's right now in our learning process that is online for this course or in your work environment, because work environments are highly being digital literacy. So my event is COVID-19. As we all know, COVID-19 was a huge adjustment for all of us, completely changed how we lived our lives, and still to this day we feel the effects and adjustments of it. But I believe the biggest effect and impact and shaped the world that we live in today was the digital literacy and advancement of educational technology. In this article below, talks about the use of digital literacy pre-COVID and the effect of post-COVID, providing facts and the statistics of digital literacy. Before you read this article, you might ask yourself, was digital literacy better or for the worse? COVID happened so fast that there was no time to really comprehend what was going to happen. First, I thought there was going to be a two-way thing, not sure how to move forward. Well, then we found our answer, which was become digital literacy, which was introduced to me. From a medical point of view and a work point of view, scrambling to figure out how we were going to move forward without the facial interactions that we were so accustomed to, as everybody was looking for those answers, digital literacy was introduced. My personal experience with digital literacy. When COVID happened, I was entering my first year of college at CNN. Used to your traditional school environments and face-to-face interactions, as well as to gather information or textbooks that were provided to schools, or in this instance, bought from the school. Yes, digital literacy was introduced to me in high school and a little bit prior in middle school, but it wasn't as thought out as I believed it was prior to this experience. I had never used a laptop for my own personal use until I was in college my freshman year, so I was already adjusting to the technological use of completing assignments through a laptop, which was a MacBook, which some people could say is not the most college-friendly laptop. Then COVID happened, forcing us to move into a digital world where we were not prepared for it, and I did not have much knowledge for, which I provided a link down below as the evolution of MacBooks as well, just a short little history about MacBooks. As I was entering this digital experience world in my first year in college, which was already challenging to begin with, I was asking questions: am I choosing my major? Is this what I want to do? These questions I asked myself during this time for the lack of motivation I was facing as I was trying to figure out what I was doing to do this now. Then COVID happened, introducing to a new style of learning that I wasn't already adapted to, which became a transition. I had to find my medium. I was quick to realize that medium was digital literacy. I wasn't aware of it yet, but it was out of the ordinary, and in a way, digital literacy gave me the time to really sit back and think and figure out this is right for me. And it turns out it was. Everything's moved online, accessing textbooks, gathering a border of information instead of what you would get in the book, which I believe was more helpful than I realized. As well as the introduction of Zoom, which I had never used before, but was able to adapt to this style and set myself up for success. What comes with digital literacy is trying to find that medium when it comes to information that you're educating yourself in. Some information can be misleading, with digital literacy and being able to work well with educational technology, I was able to pick apart information that was informative to me and be able to explain it in ways that suited me best for my assignments and other ways as well. Overcoming adversity. With anything in life, the more you do it, the better you come at it. The spring semester was an adjustment period for me, but the more I did it, the more confident I got. Being able to work efficiently on all digital literacy platforms, successfully complete my online work, but also set myself up for success in my work environment. Not only was it an adjustment for schools all over the place, but also for work environments. Working a government job at the time with the Bernalillo County, work must go on. Meetings all moved to online, having to communicate that work that was being completed on more digital literacy platforms, whether that was emails, a lot more spreadsheets being used, which And when in person, you're meeting face to face and getting direct feedback. You had to wait more on these feedbacks when it came to digital literacy in your work environment. But anyways, both different environments, but both working together in a way to set me up for the future that I'll be living today. Well, there was some adversity of learning how to work with digital literacy and realizing that this is becoming the new norm. Attending Zoom calls and being able to distribute that work I was completing for my professors and supervisors and using this style of literacy to my advantage. As I'm becoming more confident in this environment, I was able to say in some ways I enjoyed it better. As tough as it can be at times because face-to-face interactions could be better to learn for certain people, I was able to find my medium with digital literacy and set myself up for success. For example, once things were getting moved into in-person, I found myself preferring online courses, finishing my C&M courses strictly online, and now still even being a digital learner here at UNIT. So once I started embracing this digital literacy or resolved it, once I overcame this adversity, my lack of knowledge or areas additionally that I wasn't as confident in, online learning or remote working, those problems were resolved by the consistency of working with digital literacy during COVID, and then everything was through technological advances. But I was consistently working on it. Like with anything, like the more you do it, the more confident you become with it. I was able to shortly realize that I found my medium, prefer this environment, and was able to complete my goals and tasks that I set out for myself. Now, preparing yourself for digital literacy. Now that we are in this world of digital literacy, we can ask ourselves, how do we prepare for it? What are some steps do I need to take to make sure that I'm ready for what's to come? Well, in the article, The Future of Digital Literacy, written by Shoal Ports, talks about the direction of digital literacy, as stated, and I quote, one of the key trends is the shift towards a more holistic approach to digital literacy in addition to technical skills. There will be a greater emphasis on critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity, and I quote. This article also talks about that it's not only in the IT field that this style is being used, but also the aspects of work with force it's heading towards in this direction. As for my personal experiences, and in the event I had talked about in the previous slides, I had the basics of digital literacy. I was able to work with such programs I taught by APS schooling. But with anything, the more you do it, the better you get at it. But we are moving into a world that is becoming dependent on digital literacy, being taught from elementary school all the way up until where we are today. So 3 things I believe in are familiarize yourself with it, practice it over on your own time, and don't fight it. Embrace it with this new environment that we are in. Not only is digital literacy being used in schooling, but in your work environments. While my education took a turn in this educational technology, a lot of jobs took into this world as well. Well, during COVID, they had no choice, which I believe had the biggest impact. Use traditional ways the same as schools. They had to adapt as well. A lot more digital literacy was used, but I believe it was more communication purposes. Work had to be distributed in ways that was not used before, creating programs for work to be shared and completed, as well as the take-home laptops because that was the new normal. Telephonic work has become the new norm. As while there is mixed emotions about that, it's taking a place in the style we need to adapt to it. So now, how is digital used today? Well, I believe it is more common than how most of us are raised. For example, school. Right now, this class is a digital literacy. School across the country has adapted to this new style and used it to their advantage. Even work, my job at the Metropolitan Courthouse, is dependent on digital literacy. And if our program goes down at work that we use, the court would be at a standstill. Nothing would be completed. So we are very reliant on digital literacy, which I think is a great example of how far we come from your traditional ways of work and even school to now of how dependent we are on a digital literacy. Yes, it's efficient, but it can also have its faults, which asks the question, is it for the better or for the worse? And on this slide is just a picture and the website I gather this information from is the pros and cons of digital literacy, giving you both the perspectives of the advantage and disadvantage and being able to create your own opinion if you believe it's for the better or for the worse moving forward. So in conclusion, the meaning of digital literacy is very simple and straightforward meaning, but I believe the use of digital literacy can expand into many possibilities and consistently learning the new ideas and style of literacy. For example, in this class, I've already expanded my knowledge of digital literacy that I didn't know about before, creating a portfolio and publishing my work for my classmates to see, a way that I have never done before. But also I can say I am still learning about digital literacy. which I believe will be critical going forward in our lives in general speaking.